Hello mudlarking friends, thanks for joining me again. It's a cold one down here today. It is the return of the pin glove. The pin glove is back. Let's see what we can find today. I've been working this patch for a while now and just tossed this over. What have we got? Best ring edge. Little fly button there. Worn quite thin. Even when it's a nothing, I am a sucker for anything with something written on it. There you go, 16 and a half. No idea what that is. Okay, so I just scooped up this, what looks to be part of a cloth seal. You can see a bit of the detail there and a number 11 maybe. So I'll do a bit of research on that when I get home. Pretty sure it's part of a cloth seal. You've heard of cloth and bag seals, no doubt. We find them often enough. This cloth seal has a particular name though. An Alnage seal. It dates to 1649 and bears the mark of a thistle on one side and the head of King William III on the other. This seal would have started life as a 4-part rove seal, with the fragment you see here a remnant of the 2 inner discs. England adopted the tradition of sealing cloths for sale with lead seals in the late 14th century. It takes this practice almost certainly from its use in the Low Countries, starting in the 13th century. This particular seal is known as an Alnage seal. It refers to the job title of an Alnager, an officer of the Crown who had one of those jobs that has long since disappeared in the British Isles. An Alnager was responsible for inspecting the quality and measures of woolen goods for retail and, once approved, stamped them with a lead seal. You've heard the phrase, stamped with a seal of approval. Now you know where it comes from. Blank cloth seals were attached to individual textile units, then struck with dies in a single operation, in a similar way to that of producing hammered coins. I'm a big fan of the phrase "'twas ever thus", particularly in reference to government. So let me tell you about a couple of Alnagers of yesteryear. The first one we're looking at is John Cannonji's Alnager of Bristol, pally with Henry of Bolingbroke, who would later be known as King Henry IV. John participated in the government of Bristol as bailiff, sheriff and Alnager. During Cannonji's second mayoralty of Bristol, a royal commission was set up to look into the accusation made by the abbot of St Augustine's that Cannonjis and others had riotously assembled, asserting claims to rights of way and ferry, stealing planks, placing timber over the watercourse, and even imprisoning some of the Abbey Mill's canons. Cannonji's was ultimately dismissed of the Alnagership of Bristol. However, remember his pal Henry Bolingbroke? As soon as he became King Henry IV, Cannonji's was reappointed as Alnager. Friends in high places will get you everywhere. Now let's take a look at Francis Langley. Langley was the owner of the Swan Playhouse in Paris Gardens, Southwark. There were all sorts of dramas going on with Langley, pun intended. Having previously fallen out with the Surrey Justice of the Peace and also being booted out of his apprenticeship as a draper due to his indiscretions. Never fear, the well-placed are here, this time in the form of his namesake, that old rogue, Spymaster General of Elizabeth I, Francis Walsingham. Walsingham put in a good word for Langley, and he became the Alnager and searcher of cloth for the City of London. It wasn't long before Langley was drawn into lawsuits, accusing him of fraud and corruption. But it was the insalubrious domain of tenements, brothels and playhouses that earned Langley his money, namely as a loan shark, his intention to grab every single penny through whatever means. I'm telling you guys, it always pays just to have a little dig around where someone has been before you. Because things get missed. Okay, it's just a penny coin, but it was untouched, so I don't think they saw it. Which means there may be more. And yet again, same area, guys. Look, what's that? Oh, it's broken. Ah, come on, woman. Little bit of a button. And is there a clue on there? Let's have a look. I think there may well be. This might be the hardest challenge in history, but maybe I can get some information from this. I think I found my coin line. Let's see if you can see this before I point it out. There. Modern coin. 1 penny. And there we go, it pays off to be in the cold. Here's the jackpot. Little, I'm going to take a guess, an Edward. Lovely little hammered coin. Quite nice condition. I'll check that out when I get home. Oh dear. And see what I've got here. There it is. Wow. My first day back on the foreshore since Christmas, a cold, misty January day. Honestly, I couldn't be more pleased to welcome in 2023 this way. Thanks to the esteemed Timothy Medhurst, I now know this coin is an Edward IV from his second reign. It's a York penny under Archbishop Rotherham, and it dates from 1480 to 1483. Two diagnostic features are the T and the slanting key by the neck, with a quatrefoil on the reverse. Hammered coins are extremely tricky to identify, and I had misidentified this one as a Henry IV. Yep, our old pal Henry Bolingbroke, as was. How exciting, though, that this penny was minted in York and has made its way down to London, ending up in the River Thames. What business could the bearer of this coin have been on? What was happening in Edward IV's second reign? Well, it was a time of great conflict. The Wars of the Roses was raging, and Edward was married to one of my favourite women in history, the formidable Elizabeth Woodville. His marriage to Woodville was the catalyst for a rift with his chief adviser, the Earl of Warwick, Richard Neville, also known as the Kingmaker for his skill in putting people on the throne of England. This rift ran deep. It led to a revolt in 1470, which saw Edward IV fleeing to Flanders and put Henry VI back on the throne again, albeit briefly. Gathering support while in Flanders, Edward made a counterstrike and invaded England in 1471. Following victories at the Battle of Barnet and Tewkesbury, Henry VI was found dead in the Tower of London, and Edward IV reigned in England once again for another 12 years. Here we go, little bone button. Could be anything from 18th century onwards, and you can see the irregular circles on the back there, and possibly even homemade. Alright guys, short and sweet today, but I couldn't keep you hanging anymore for a new video. Join me next time. Hey, I forgot to say we had some good finds today, didn't we? Love that hammered coin. Alright, well I'll be back out here soon, so join me next time and see what adventures we can have on mudlarking with old Father Thames.